Okay. Sorry, I gotta mute myself again for a second. Alright, we are back for episode 3. In the first 2 episodes, we talked about, you know, the introduction and the tutorials. We talked about how missions work. We talked about the codex and how you can find anything you realistically need to learn. We talked about how the market works and how to find everything. And we also talked about your arsenal, which is back there. And we talked about the modding station as well. What I want to talk about at the start of this episode here is how to actually buy blueprints and weapons and stuff. We sort of touched base on that during the conversation where we talked about the market, but I want to talk about weapons here. So, once you complete the tutorial, you have some credits to work with, you're able to buy blueprints for weapons. And we talked about mastery rank as well. What I recommend you personally do, okay, if you want to do everything the game has to offer, basically, is for each mastery rank you are in, I want you to buy every weapon that you have available for blueprints, or just weapons outright like this, where it just costs credits for that. But I want you to get the blueprints for every weapon that is available to you that is not mastery locked. Once you own all of those, you don't have to craft them, but once you have them, that's when I want you to update your mastery rank. Because if you start doing mastery rank by mastery rank just every single day, you're going to get overwhelmed with the amount of weapons you have. So I personally recommend just getting everything you're able to get at the moment, which would be your MK1 weapons and stuff like that. In terms of what you should get first, I don't know if I should tell you what you should get first until we talk about damages and stuff, which is not really the part of this video that we're going to be talking about, so just, you know, get the blueprints that you can get at the moment. In terms of Warframe blueprints, don't worry about this yet, until we actually have a Warframe that we can farm for. You can sort of, you know, choose one that you like to work on in the future, but for the sake of the series that we're doing, don't worry about it at the moment. So, just to show you how this works, I'm going to get this bow staff blueprint here. So you just go into it. There's an option to get it for premium currency, so you don't have to build anything. Or you can get it for... or you can get a blueprint. So, basically, buy the blueprint. And then once you have a blueprint for a weapon, you can go down here to your foundry. And then once you are in here, you will see the blueprint that you just unlocked. And you can do that and accept it and build it. And then everything does take time. Weapons usually take about 12 hours. Warframes take about 3 hours. New players kind of see this and they're like, ew, gross. The longer you play, the more you realize this is like a blessing in disguise, actually. You can speed it up for Platinum. I highly don't recommend you do that, because these timers, they're nothing to cry over. There is so much for you to do all the time that this actually helps you pace things out. But yeah, I just want you to get some blueprints and sort of start crafting stuff you are able to. And yeah, just kind of look at the earth resources that I told you to look at, just so you can see what you're able to build at the moment. So if you come down into this bottom corner here, it'll show you the resources that drop on Earth, basically. So, yeah, grab some blueprints, and you can start crafting some weapons. Alright, and also at the start of this, what you're probably going to want to do is go into the recruiting section. And if you come into here, you can look for a clan to join. So just be like, hey, I'm new, I'm looking for a clan to join. If you want to, you can join my 100% clan that I'm working on from my 100% account that I added myself into on this account. And basically, once you have access to a clan, it's going to give you this clan key item. It takes about 12 hours to talk about clans quite yet, but just make sure you're able to join a clan as early as possible. Have access to some weapons and some warframes and some pretty cool stuff. So you're gonna want this key, and the only way to get this blueprint is by joining a clan. So if you're someone who's new and you want to join the 100% clan, let me know. I'll go ahead and show it off here. This is not my owner account. That'd be Warframe Vet account. As you can see, is the creator. So if you add this account as a friend and just leave a note being like, hey, I want to join your clan, I can invite you into the clan, which is currently rank 2 with 6 members. 8 members, technically. So, yeah, let me know. You can see everything on the side here as well, sort of just promoting everything that the clan's for. And yeah, we have most of the basic stuff set up already. I don't have a way for me to show you that, but let me know if you'd like to join my clan, and I can send that over to you if you don't want to find a random clan, but it might be easier finding someone else random. And then I can also have alliances as well. So yeah, join a clan. Like I said, just go into this icon here, the recruiting chat, and you could just be like, hey, I'm new and I'm looking for a clan to join, basically, and someone will hit you up with an invite, essentially. Then you just accept that, and then you should get the clan key blueprint. Next steps here, and realistically, what most people are going to want to do is to go to Cetus here, which is one of the open worlds in Warframe, or you can do different missions, but I personally recommend just coming into here. There's going to be a story mission you have to do. I'm not going to explain that to you, because you do need to learn sort of some of these things on your own a little bit, and I feel like quests like that, you're probably fine on your own, so I'm just going to run through the mission there, and then I'll explain sort of how this section of the game works after that. And I'll explain all the ins and outs to that.
The Ostrons are grateful, and so am I. Once again, the path ahead is yours to determine. My supplementary message should make that path more clear.
Alright. Once you are done with the Cetus quest, you'll get this message. You can read it if you want to. I already know what it says, but you get the blueprint for Gara. Lord, sounds better.
Angry.
So once you're done those, it is time to explain what the heck is even Cetus, dude. What do you do? What is there to do? Why come back? You know? And again, you're gonna have to come back here in the future, but I just want to do like a quick rundown of everything that you need to like take note of. And the first thing you're going to want to take note of is that there's a fast travel option here. You can fast travel to everyone that is available, obviously. You want to start off where you were before.
From the plains to the glittering fields of the origin system itself. This is something that the Grineer will never see, let alone understand.
Okay, so this is Kanzu. This is where you're going to be taking missions from, which are these bounties here. Some of these will be locked to you because you're not a high enough level and you just don't have access to it yet. As you can see, this one requires Master Rank 2, this needs Master Rank 3, and this needs Master Rank 5, so you can't just steamroll through everything. It is the only way to get Gara parts, I believe. But you do these bounties, and you get rewards, and these rotate out every 3 hours, I believe, to different rewards. So you can get like mods, resources, as well as some Gara parts, and some, you know, items and bits and pieces and stuff. Always check these kind of whenever you're around, because you can get some rare resources. Like this one is found on Mercury and Mars, Phobos, Europa, and Pluto, and we don't have access to those planets yet. So if you're trying to like craft a weapon or a Warframe that needs parts you can't get yet, you can sometimes find these available in the bounties, like control modules. Like Europa is pretty damn far. So you can't actually get all the Garrett parts until you are maxed your rank 2, which by this point you should have access to that. But like I said, I don't want you to level up your master rank until you sort of, you know, buy all the blueprints that you can. But when you do these missions, you're going to get some standing for the faction, which is, you can see up here. And why that is important is because when you go into Ostron Standing, you're going to see this little rank up item, and you can see all the levels that you're going to have to get to. You're going to have to get all the way up to Kin, which is level 5. Don't worry about that just yet, but just go to the rank up section, and you can see what items you need, and you need a max bar of your standing, essentially. And in the bottom right, it'll show you how much standing you can get every day. So, for Master Rank 1, I believe it's 17,000. So, you should be able to level up once. And that is going to be the only way to do everything else around here, basically. So what I want you to do first is actually just complete a few bounties, you know, get some standing, if possible. You can max this out to 5,000 if you want to. You don't have to, but I recommend just doing a few bounty missions, either alone or with other people. And I'm just going to jump into a few of those real quick. And sometimes there is a limited sort of like event going on in the open world. So for Earth, that'll be the Ghoul Purge. That happens kind of randomly, but it's usually around for like 30 days or so, or until the community defeats enough of them. But you can get some rare stuff out of these, like rare weapons that you can usually never get, some rare items that you're going to need in the future, as well as Aya, which I explained, I think, last episode what Aya is, but don't worry about it too much just yet. But if you do see these around, just kind of hop into those whenever you're able to. This one requires Master Rank 3, which is the same as this one, so just do keep that in mind. But try to get this weapon here, because this weapon is actually pretty damn good. So whenever this is available, just kind of hop into it. Like I said, it's not going to be available all the time, but if it is, just hop in, do these, and yeah. Once we get some standing, I'll... Alright. Once you have some standing...
I give you coordinates.
Show you. Once you have some standing saved up, you can either rank up if you want to. I don't recommend it just yet. But I'm going to go ahead and introduce everything that you can do. So, over to the left over here, you have this guy. His name is Hawk.
Hawk has been busier than the one-armed mine with his skin.
And, basically, this guy is... You can build your own melee weapons, basically.
I shall create the
so if you take a blade part,
very good, very good.
As well as a grip, and then a link cable,
they shall work wonderfully.
link cable, just a link, you can actually make your own melee weapons, which is very cool, but you cannot do that unless you have parts available. So these are all the parts you can get at first, and then the higher the rank you are with the faction, the better the stuff you can get, basically. But you can get all the basic stuff right away. And basically, each individual part has different stats to it. And I'll give you a little rundown. Like this one increases speed at the cost of damage. And then this one increases damage at the cost of speed. So you can kind of pick and choose what you want. The grips all have different buffs as well, so this will change the way the weapon like attacks. If you ever played Liza P before, same thing. You know, the handles are how the weapon will perform. So you realistically could have like, is this the dagger? You could have like a dagger handle with like a really big blade if you wanted to. I don't know why you would want to, but you could definitely do that. So this is really worth checking out because you can customize how you want your melee weapons to function, and you can create as many of them as you want to. And I'm just gonna be straight up about this. A lot of these are really overpowered. I don't know if this is my 100% account or the account that I had before that, but I ended up making like one of the best weapons just ever somehow, and that basically carried me all the way to endgame. So this is a really cool place to check out. If you want to go jump into weapons. You can also buy ones that are created already. It's kind of random each day, but you can purchase that for a discount. And then there's other services. So when you use it and you level it up all the way, it'll stop leveling up at 30. But you don't actually get mastery rank towards your progression level until you guild it. Once you guild it, it'll go back to level 0 again. But then you can rank it up as well as name the weapon, and then you'll actually get your mastery XP for doing that, but you won't get mastery XP unless you guild it. And then you can also trade them in for standing as well, and you can rename them for premium currency. So this guy is great. Check him out. He's fantastic. I walked straight past this other guy here. This is more of like a cosmetic kind of person. You can buy these little floofy dudes if you want to. And then he also has these flares that will boost your XP range on missions. So you'll basically when you're in a squad of people, you get XP bonuses if you're like together. But if they're further away, you won't get any XP, so this just increases the range of it. There's 2 of them. They do the exact same thing. So I don't even know why there's 2 of them, since they do the same thing, but yeah. Collect those. It's good for the open worlds. When you're on just regular missions, it's pretty good too, because you'll just kind of get XP just constantly, because those maps are a little bit smaller than the open world. Then if you come over to this guy, who we're not going to worry too much about at the moment,
I am in partnership with
but this guy is going to be for hunting in the future. Like I said, don't worry about it right now, but you are able to hunt animals, and then you can trade tags from those captured animals to get some floofs, a badge, an emblem if you will, and then some rare mods for companions as well. And then you can also get some more like cosmetic stuff that you can place around, so they're like caged animals if you wanted to, and then also colors for companions as well.
As you wish.
So again, don't really worry about this guy right now, but he's going to be good to talk about in the future episodes. And over here, this is going to be a fishing person. This is why I wanted you to gather some standing so you can get some of the basic stuff. You're going to have 3 different fishing rods you can choose from. There's really no way to like tell you which rod is better, because they do specific things. Like this one is good for catching Terralock fish. But it can catch other fish. This one is good for catching all those other different fish that you can see there. And then this one's good for catching those other ones. So basically, like, some fish have, like, armor plating, some fish are, like, really slimy, so you'll have, like, a harder time catching those fish, basically. But, to be honest, you're not gonna remember what fish are what to know when to swap rods. So, just kind of choose whatever. I do recommend just getting all of them, and you can choose which one you have like the best time with. I'm just gonna get this one real quick because this is just the first one you're given. And then what you want to do with the rod, I think, if I remember this correctly, is you go to gear, and then you can add your fishing rod into there. And then you can add the other fishing rods as well. I don't believe you can swap fishing rods if you're holding it. But yeah, you just add it to your gear wheel, and then you're able to fish now. There is different baits. It'll tell you what the baits are good for, so you can read here that this one attracts mawfish and eels in the lake. And then it'll tell you what it can catch in ponds and then oceans, because there's different types of water sources. There's also like cave fish too, but I don't think there's cave fish on Earth, so don't worry about cave fish. And then you can get dyes. These you want. You can use these on any planet when you're fishing. So stockpile these as much as you can, because basically it will make the fish glow, so they're very much easier to see. And that works, again, on all planets, so I do recommend just stockpiling some of that. If you plan to do a lot of fishing, you will have to do fishing if you want to get some certain items built. And again, I'll show you what baits are good for what, depending on what you need. I do recommend just trying to catch at least one of every fish, just so you know what each one does. And again, the higher the rank you are, the more stuff you can unlock over time. If you go into the specials, you can buy fish parts for premium currency. If you don't have a lot of time, but you have a lot of money, you can do that.
Let's see
And
what
then
you've got.
if you give them fish, or her fish
You
rather,
have
she
no
will...
fish?
you can
Well,
provide fish
what are
for
you waiting
standing,
for?
which,
Go catch
again, I
some.
don't really recommend you do unless you have, like, a lot of the most rare fish, because those are worth the most. But then you can also cut the fish, and that's how you get the fish
I should have been a plumber.
bits and pieces, if you will. So you're gonna have to cut the fish. Doesn't take long. I can't show that yet because we haven't caught any fish, but I will show that. And I'll also just grab a dye and a bait just for the sake of showing you how those work once we get out of here.
Come again.
So yeah, you're gonna have to do some fishing in the future if you're trying to unlock like certain weapons and warframes and stuff like that, so just do be aware of that. You're gonna have to do some fishing at some point. And then over here, you have this other guy. His name is Sumbet. Old man Sumbet, to be exact. And this guy is going to be a mining guy. So you need to pick up a mining laser. You can get this one from Earth. Again, I'm not going to tell you which lasers are better, but this is the only one you can get on Earth anyway, so you don't have to worry about that right now. Never mind, I lied, there's these other ones. It'll show you, you know, what they do, but you won't be able to get the other ones until you're higher rank anyways. And then you're actually going to need blueprints to craft certain, like, minerals and stones and gems and stuff. So you basically get the raw materials from mining, and then you have to craft the actual resource itself. Kind of like Minecraft, you know, you gotta like smelt iron ore into ingots. So just pick those up, because you're gonna need these as well in the future if you're trying to craft everything. And then again, the higher the rank you are, the more stuff you can unlock. While we're just talking about this right now, I personally recommend just kind of doing like what we're doing with like the blueprints, is just kind of buy everything you can before ranking up, because it's just going to make your life a bit easier. Because if you just grind all of this to max rank, you're going to have so much stuff to get, and you're honestly going to be overwhelmed. If you go into the premium shop, you can just buy crafted gems. Some of them more rare than others, defined by their prices. Again, if you don't have a lot of time but you have a lot of money, that is the way you would do that. And then you can trade some of these more rare gems for standing as well. again, I don't really recommend it unless you're rather like mine for ores rather than like fight enemies, basically. If you want like a more peaceful way to do it, but these don't give you nearly as much. Like this one gives you 400. That's the most per one of these, and this is the rarest one. And you know you can't really get this until you have an advanced laser, anyways. So yeah, you're gonna need those. So check those out. They're gonna be important. And I think that's everyone. We talked to the mask guy, the sword guy, the animal guy, the fish girl, and then that guy. Yeah, that's everyone. So just kind of make sure you try and buy one of everything with your standing before you rank up, just for your sanity, to be honest.
Business has been good this week.
And then, real quick, I'm going to go ahead and show you what all of these things do. Make sure you equip your laser before you go outside. So again, just arsenal to the back here into your gear wheel. And that is where you will have your mining laser. Now, just a quick note to mention, you do not need to apply bait and dyes into your gear wheel. Those will just pop up when you're fishing. So I'll go show you how those work real quick. And then that'll cover the basic of the open world. Just, you know, get rank up, get standing, fish and mine, and then once we have access to all the open worlds, we will revisit so I can tell you, you know, the best place to come for certain things, how to rank up easier and stuff like that. I could probably tell you how to rank up on this one pretty easily, so we might just run through that real quick. So let's just go over to a body of water over here. Hopefully there's not a lot of enemies. Not that it matters, but they will start shooting. So once you're near some water, you're going to obviously pull out your fishing rod. And if you can see on the bottom there, you have access to your bait and your dyes. So if you throw in some bait, that will attract certain types of fish, depending on like where you are, time of day, and stuff like that. And then you also have your dyes as well. If you throw in the luminous dye, this will make the fish light up, so you can actually see them properly, because they are quite hard to see sometimes. And then you just throw your spear at it, there you go. You just caught a fish. How long the dye lasts, I don't have an official timer for that. I want to say it's like 5 minutes. It could be 10 minutes. I want to say 5 minutes, though. And if you miss fish too many times, they will just kind of swim away, obviously, but yeah, you just catch fish, return them to the person, you can trade them in mechanic, or you can cut them into fish materials. And there is different sizes of fish as well, small, medium, and large. As you can see, this is a large one. Weighs more, and you actually get more standing and more resources. But the way the standing works is, like, the more rare the fish, the more standing you can get. So if you're spending your time catching the rarest type of fish, which I believe is the Norg, I don't even remember where to catch a Norg, so I'm going to have to do some research so I can actually tell you where to get every type of fish in the future. But if you were to catch the rarest type of fish all the time with bait, you can get pretty good standing out of it, because I think it's like 1,000 standing per fish, basically. So at the beginning, it's totally viable. As long as you know where to look, because you can't just catch any fish wherever. You have to go to specific, you know, lakes, ponds, or ocean spots. Sometimes during the day, sometimes during the night. You know, it all really depends on what kind of fish you're trying to get. But yeah, it's quite nice. It's quite peaceful. It's a good change of pace, and that's just kind of fun too. If you like fishing. If you don't like fishing, you probably won't spend much more time here than you have to. But if you do like fishing, this is it's quite a good time, to be honest. But before I come out with the video showing you all the specific spots for everything, I do recommend just trying out different baits in different spots, and just, you know, using different dyes and stuff like that. and different rods, and just kind of seeing what you can find and just like take note of it, you know? Obviously this spot is good for heals, so you can kind of keep note of that in the back of your head. Because certain types of fish will give you certain types of fish resources. I don't want to keep calling them fish resources because that sounds fucking disgusting, but I mean, it technically is true, you know, lungs, hearts, eyes, stuff like that. So, yeah, different fish give you different pieces of fish, basically. So, yeah, that is how you fish. You can fish basically wherever there's water, other than like a little tiny puddle, obviously. But if you throw some dye in, if you don't see fish showing up, you probably can't catch fish there, or there's just no fish to get. It sometimes happens. Sometimes you're in like a really rare spot, and it takes a long time for like a single fish to show up, which is why the baits are good, but even then, sometimes it does take a little bit. So, yeah, that's how fishing works. I'm not going to dwell on it any longer, because I just talked about it. And then these little blue spots, as well as red spots you may have seen doing some missions, these are going to be the resources you're able to mine. So just pull out your laser and point it at the rock, at these little blue spots, and then you just hold it down until you fill it into that white box. You don't have to fill it into the white box, but you do get a better chance of getting something a little more rare when you do that. There is a difference between the red and blue ones, but I'm not going to get into that right now, just because we're here for like the basic rundown of everything. But yeah, that is how you mine resources. And if you see on the right side there, and you hear that little beeping, it'll actually tell you how close you are to a spot to mine. So if you don't see a number pop up or you don't hear any beeping, you won't actually be able to find something. But if you just keep kind of going around a little bit, eventually something should pop up. And you can also damage stuff with this as well. Very little damage, mind you, but you can damage things with this. So you just kind of go around, and here's a version of the red one. Again, you fill this up into the white box. If you want like maximum efficiency, like if you just want as many gems as possible, what you basically want to do is just quick tap it. You know, because that's the fastest way to just get resources all the time. If you want the rarest of the rare stuff more consistently, then obviously you want to fill those white boxes up as much as you can to like sort of increase your odds of something a little more rare. But in terms of like time, I do personally just recommend just kind of tapping them quickly, because you will just get a lot more, a lot faster than just holding it down, basically. And yeah, that is how you go mining and fishing. Pretty simple, to be honest. Not too much you really have to worry about with that. I will say though, if you are holding this down and you get shot at, you will actually lose your connection to the stone. So you'll end up basically having that happen right there, where it just doesn't go up all the way. But again, you don't really want to worry about that too much anyways. And then before we end off the basics of Cetus here, I'm just gonna show you real quick. I know my standing isn't up all the way because I bought some of the basic stuff.
Provides
But I will very quickly just show you how to get these 3 items real quick, which is Nestle Pods, Iridite, and then Rock Drool. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to get those real quick, so you can rank up. And then, if I really need to, I'll explain some of the other levels to it, if I think I need to. I may not need to, what happens. I do recommend, I can't show this anymore because I left already, but in your arsenal, if you have a loot radar mod, you can attach that to your Warframe, and that'll basically show where loot is on the map as like a little white marker, which is going to be really good for finding all these different resources and stuff like that. As you can see one here, the little blue spot, this one's actually a wisp, which you can find near the water. Don't worry about that right now. I need to find somewhere that's not going to kill me so I can talk about these things. So iridite, you're going to find as a little rock formation, just like this one. It ranges from anywhere from like 1 to 3, I think. Basically, the further up you are, the better your chances are to get more of them at once. So that's how you find those. They're just kind of everywhere. You don't really have to look too hard, because you'll just kind of come across them. I don't know what this one is telling me, to be honest. Rock drool can be found near, like, Grenier structures, which is what these are made out of. I think you get 1 to, like, 5 of them each time per canister. So you can find these, obviously, near, like, Grenier structures or outposts as well, which don't actually show up. Like this one over here, this is like 3. That's an outpost. Go over there and get some rock drool. And then nidal pods or nissel pods, those ones are a bit harder to explain. The best way I could say to find them is to come over to, I believe, this spot. And if I'm wrong, I'll cut this part out. No, I was right, okay. So these spawn a little more near, like, the mountainy areas. So, again, you can just come to this spot right here near the Ostwind Range. And then you can actually just find these on ground. And then, again, you just hit them. And you should get 5 of them basically every time. But as far as I'm aware, this is kind of the best spot to go to, because they're just kind of all around this area. I say that, but I can't actually see anything that is trying to tell me that's around. If you don't see anything that's around when you have blue radar on, usually that means it's above you or below you. Sometimes it is just completely out of range. That's just gonna happen sometimes, but you can also find these trees, but you don't really have to worry about that. And that is how you collect your first 3 types of resources you're going to need to rank up to rank number 2. And then obviously you're going to need 5,000 standing as well. And I don't know if I showed this earlier in the edited video, but
And so it goes.
if you come over to
Sorry,
these little
friend.
spots, you can actually just choose missions
I give you
from here,
coordinates.
so you don't have to keep going back and forth all the
Nobody
time.
but you comes out. Good.
And when it comes to these, I just recommend trying to get 1 of every mod. Keep an eye on resources. Again, you know, keep an eye on which ones you can't get, and just try to farm those as much as possible. I do not recommend running bounties if you already have max rank, unless you're trying to get a very specific thing. But in terms of, like, value of your time, if you have max standing, don't really do missions, because you're just kind of wasting your time a little bit, because you can't just, like, save up standing. You know, there's not like an overdraft type of thing that happens. Like, once you're at the max, you're just at the max. You can't go higher than that. So just to be aware of that. Because, like, these rare ones, you can just come back and get those in the future once your standing resets again. Because, like, there's the daily cap. So, yeah. I do recommend just, again, getting 1 of every mod and every piece, like Warframe pieces. And just keep an eye for rare resources. When you are doing bounties, because I didn't explain this earlier, there's like a bonus, like, goal that you can do on missions on the top left. It'll explain to you what you can do for a bonus. And if you get all the bonuses up till the end, you have a... I don't know if this is guaranteed every single time, but you have a higher chance, or you're just guaranteed to get a rarer item, so like an uncommon or a rare item, but you also get 2 different rewards at the end as well, rather than just 1. So, yeah, just kind of do that and make sure you're just getting standing as often as you can to rank this up. So just kind of just like come in, you know, every day or so. If you don't want to do it every day, that's fine. You don't have to, but just kind of keep an eye on those and try not to forget about those because you can get some really good stuff from this. Like I showed you with like the melee weapons and stuff like that. So it's up to you if you want to decide to do the method I told you to do, where you just get everything within the level you're able to do and then rank up after that, just so you're not burdened by being overwhelmed with a million things that you can get. Or you can just strictly grind the levels all the way out, because once you're at the max, that's when you can hold the most standing at one time, basically, which I think is somewhere in like the 100,000 range. Right now we're only at 5,000, so you can see the difference there, but I personally do recommend you just kind of get what you can get with what rank you're at, and then just kind of increase from there. That way you can sort of learn the ins and outs of everything. But again, that choice is yours. You can do as you wish. Yeah. So
You pay me
I'm
in
probably
red.
going to
I pay you in
increase my standing a little bit here, and then I'm just gonna probably rank that up, and that should be it for the main episode, I think. Because this is mostly what I just want to cover this episode, is this whole area and explaining all of those mechanics, because you are going to be spending time here if you plan to, you know, enjoy the game to the fullest. So, yeah. If something comes up later on, I'll add that into the post-production, but that should be it as far as I'm aware for the time being. Either in this episode or next episode, I'm going to talk about like mission types and damages. I'm probably going to save that for next episode, so we can talk about like, you know, Earth and all the different stuff going on. And then after that, I think we're officially done with Earth stuff, and then we can move on to the next planet.